Before we start adding CSS to our web page, we should have an idea of what we want the overall site and page to look like. As powerful as Dreamweaver is, it's not a very good tool to use to design on the fly or to experiment. You should have a solid understanding of the look and feel of your website already outlined before you begin working in Dreamweaver. So to begin this video, I'm going to come down here into my Files panel. And if you scroll down towards the bottom, you'll see a file in here called webcomp.psd. Now I'm going to double click on that file to open it inside of Photoshop. And I'm just going to go ahead and switch to a full screen mode here. And I'll zoom in a little bit. If you don't have Photoshop, don't worry. It's going to be helpful for you to see how this overall web page is outlined and how you might use another program to apply the formatting and the overall look and feel of the site. So truth be told, I'm probably not going to use a whole lot from this file. I might use this image and I might even use this logo up here, but in reality, most of this is going to be recreated in Dreamweaver. But the important thing to understand here is that I used Photoshop, and that's just my tool of choice, to break down a site into its different visual categories. So for example, over here, I'm in the Layers panel in Photoshop. I can turn on and off the logo layer, and I can see that the logo is hiding and showing up here. And the reason I do this is because if I wanted to, I can experiment by rearranging the logo into different areas. Maybe I want to move the navigation over here and just kind of experiment with the overall look of the file. Now I'm going to go ahead and just undo some of that, take it back to where it was. But I hope you understand here that this is basically just giving me the flexibility that as a designer I need to be able to move things around and kind of change the overall look and feel. Now, the other important area I want you to understand is we need to take this visual look and transfer it over to Dreamweaver. And what we're going to do is we're going to start formatting using CSS. Now, CSS is often referred to as the box model, because as far as CSS is concerned, every element in your HTML file becomes a box that can be modified in one way, shape, or form. So what I've done is I've created a little folder over here in my Layers panel in Photoshop called Div. And this is just a high-level overview of the divs that I'm going to have inside of my HTML file within Dreamweaver. So we can see that what I have up here, if I turn on the visibility icon, is I have a wrapper that's really going to be the entire web page. That's really going to be what the overall web page is going to look like. Then I have a container that's kind of containing the majority of my content. Then I have a header, and then I have a content area, as you can see here. So I'll just turn that off. This is going to be the main content area. And within that content area, I have a top portion. That's where my image is going to go. And then I have a teaser, which is going to contain information, about my site. And then last but not least, I have a footer. Now, you may diverge from this as you start working in Dreamweaver and experimenting and seeing how things are flowing within your document, but at least this gives you a general understanding of how the web page is going to look and how you think you're going to be organizing the structure. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and close out of this. We don't have to save this. And I'm going to open up a HTML file called webcomp.html. And to help you understand, I have this main area here where I'm really going to be putting the logo. And then I have the navigation. So if you can imagine, this is going left to right on my web page. So we're going the logo, and then the navigation will be over here. And then we have a top portion, which is where our image is going to go. That's this guy right up here in between. Then we have our flavors, vegetarian, and takeout. And then we have our footer way down here. So I've tried to structure the content of the web page as it's going to be arranged inside of Dreamweaver. So it really doesn't matter which program you use to mock up your site, as long as you have a solid idea of what it will look like in the end. You can then utilize the power of HTML and CSS in Dreamweaver to achieve your intended result.